I don't know if our brother Mark Olise, he's from Lower Niger Bloc. I don't know if he's here so that he can give his own remark, because this must be a joint jail
Yes,
break.
yes, I'm here.
Thank you very much, my brother. Please go ahead. Few minutes, please. Thank you.
Hello. A Russian leader once said that there comes in a time in the life of a people when they decide, what kind of change that they want or what kind of change that they desire. The nature and how to proceed with it. That is the reality that befalls us today as a people. We want change, or we are fed up with the problems that befall us. But what kind of change do we want? How do we proceed? Ninas has done a wonderful job proceeding, from previous platforms, assuming previous appellations. I've done a fantastic job of trying to design, craft, and answer that question of what kind of change, what direction of change, and so on and so forth. We don't want a change that is scalar. We want a change that is vector. That is, we can measure, the changes, we can measure the impact, we can measure, the results. And on this premise, I want to talk about Agbakoba'S intervention. Agbakoba'S intervention is dubious. It's like a recipe for trading one dictatorship for another, or trading one sovereignty usurper for another, or trading one constitutional, aberration for another. How can anybody in his right senses and even envision a transition for Nigeria that involves a group of people trying to usurp the dubious, let's say, the dubious authority that the military exhibited? Maybe enviously, they want to be the ones that will exercise such kind of imperfect and criminal sovereignty over the people of Nigeria. Why will he even think that we can replace what the military have done, or what this unpatriotic Abdul Salami and his cohorts have done? How can you think you can replace that with another set of people sitting down somewhere and drafting a constitution? What will make that constitution more legitimate than what Abdul Salami did? The question before Nigeria today is a sovereignty one. And the people want to take back their power. They didn't make their constitution the constitution lie that they made it. And even the constitution, after lying, acknowledged that power can only come from the people. And the people today are asking to exercise their power only for, some elitists, in the comfort of the Lagos Island and his romance with the incumbent president, be suggesting that they can go somewhere and redraft the constitution and impose it on the country. That is in fact, that is even a treasonous recommendation. And I think we should air this. It should be a very big news that the people, the owners of the country, are saying that the recommendation of Agbakoba, which of course had the applaud of Tinubu and the Senate President Akpabio, is condemnable and should be jettisoned. Agbakoba made his name, or came to national prominence, as the president of the Civil Liberties Organization. His activities, his commentary, and so on and so forth made him, the Agbakoba that we know today. Before that campaign against military rule, in which CLO became prominent, He was nobody. In fact, at least he was not in national record. Then for somebody who, came to national record through the pro-democracy movement to be advocating anti-democratic solutions and to refuse to recognize the sovereignty of the people in his recommendation, it's a very great disservice and unpatriotic, why would I put it, dent on his, reputation. And we must come out and shame him and people who are thinking like him. Then let's come back to the current president of the country, Tinubu. In fact, fine, we agree he was a senator, but Tinubu became the Tinubu that people know today during the battle against military rule after the annulment of June 12th. And even after he became governor, he was still, pretending to be with the pro-democracy movement, advocating for a people's constitution, devolution of power, sovereignty belongs to the people and all other, principles. But the moment it became possible for him to align with the forces that be and carve a political niche for himself that will lead him to Aso Rock, he jettisoned all of this. We should be naming and shaming these people. And the president should be reminded that he cannot be canvassing for a sovereign national conference in the past, saying that the 1999 constitution, is an imposition. And only today, because it benefits him, he will shut up and be telling us that, there is no problem other than him trying to fix the economic whatever of subsidy, fuel subsidy, subsidy in electricity, subsidy in forex, and all other grammar and jargons that we hear today. The country must return back to this fundamental question of sovereignty and nationhood. And that is the few remarks I want to make.
Thank you very much for that wonderful remark. Mark Olise is from Lower Niger Bloc, but he's directly from where we call Niger Delta, and because like we keep telling our people, when we mention Lower Niger, we're not saying Igbo or this, but every ethnic nation inside that block is part of what is going on. It's for organizational purposes, because we can't be shouting one thing and doing another thing. We have to be seen at the international level as being organized, because that's what is required by the 2007 United Nations Declaration for Indigenous Peoples' Rights. You must organize from the grassroots, then begin to come up.